I am Olasubomi Sofowora, and I'm a transformational leader and global community builder with over 15 years of experience in marketing communications, sustainable development, and food security. I am passionate about creating compelling narratives that help create change and designing and implementing initiatives and programs that create impact, particularly for women and children. Today, I'll be talking about MER Chapters, which is a book that I just published. And it's basically the journey of becoming. And through this script, I'm able to share just some nuggets that can help us, help you with building a life of purpose and a life of impact. Have you ever read a book and somewhere in between, the author is jumping from one chapter to the other with some misalignment, and you ask yourself, did I miss something in between? Or you're watching a movie that seems so amazing at the start, but somewhere in between, it seems like the plot didn't connect. And you ask yourself, how did we even get here in the first place? That's how life could be sometimes. Sometimes we have a script all figured out. We feel we have a plan, we have a roadmap, and we're following that path. But sometimes things don't go the way we plan it to go. And during those times, what keeps us going is our grit. The ability to keep on moving, even in the messiness. And that's what MER Chapters is all about. It's about self-discovery. It's about understanding yourself as a person. It's about harnessing opportunities. It's about positioning yourself. It's about navigating through seasons. And it's about living a life of gratitude. So come with me on this journey, and I'll take you through some nuggets that I shared in my book, MER Chapters. A wise man once shared with me a quote. It's a quote by Niccolo Machiavelli. And it states, all courses of actions are risky. So prudence is not in avoiding danger. It's impossible. But calculating risks and acting decisively. Make mistakes of ambition and not mistakes of sloth. Develop the strength to do both things, not the strength to suffer. And this struck a chord deep in my soul. And it resonated with me. Whatever decisions we make in life, there are risks that come with it. Whether there are opportunities that we want to harness, whether there are steps that we want to take, there are risks involved, and there are risks involved in just staying and doing nothing. So why not do it anyways? Because the regrets of not making a move might be far, far, far greater than you even trying to do the things that are in line with your purpose as a person. So this reminds me of a story of my brother, my dear brother, who worked in one of the leading telecommunications company in Africa. He worked there in information systems, but he has a background in systems engineering with a passion for always wanting to fix things. He worked there, it was a good career path. He recently just got married. But what happened? My brother decided that I need to follow my passion. And what did he do? He resigned from his job. He resigned from his comfort zone and decided to take a 2-year course in aircraft engineering, even though he had just a new wife with a baby on the way. Was it hard? Yes, it was. Was it tough for him? Yes, because he had to fly to another state and shuttle between states, study hard, and still make an income for himself, for his family. He did this. And eventually, he's living his dream of fixing aircrafts and earning amazing income and doing great things. What if he decided to remain in his comfort zone? What if he didn't make that move? What if he decided to just sit back and leave the normal? This resonates with me very deeply as well. Maybe in my family, we're used to taking risks. I had a career in advertising. I worked in an advertising agency for over 5 years. And it got to a point where I felt like I wanted more. I want to do more. I want a bigger platform for my voice to be seen, for me to be seen and my voice to be heard. I want an opportunity to sit on tables that I never imagined I would be. I wanted an opportunity where I could make an impact. And so what did I do? I'm sure you can guess right. I resigned. I resigned from my comfort. I resigned from my job without getting another job. Because I'm one who puts in her everything into whatever she does. So I needed some form of space to be able to actively and strategically look for that job that I needed. But what did I do? Remember I mentioned that there are risks. I decided to make a decision to help mitigate the risk that comes with not having a job, which is making money. So before I left the agency, I decided to register a company, a marketing consulting company, so that I could make an income while looking for the kind of job that I wanted. So I registered this company, and in the agency, part of my role was business development, looking for new clients, making presentations, making pitches. So I was like, well, I could do this. And so I registered this company, and that was my safety net while I was looking for a job. I worked on briefs, I worked on personal clients, and made an income while I was looking for a job. And the interesting thing is, when this particular job that came through, it came in some form of disguise. It was the right platform I was looking for. It was the leading food and agro-allied group in Africa, I must say. But the role, it was me getting a pay cut from what I got at the advertising agency. It was a more junior role than I was in when I was in the advertising agency. And it was a totally different role than what I was looking for. And I remember when I got the offer, I said to myself, maybe I'm not going to take this offer anymore. Maybe I'll just keep looking. But this is the right organization. This is the right platform. And I spoke with my dad, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to take this offer. And he told me, he said to me, well, maybe you should just start the job. Maybe after 3 months, if it's not what you're looking for, your birthright is not tied to the organization and you could resign. I took his advice, and I took the job. And what I did while I was at the job, I kept on moving. I kept on putting in my best. And I must tell you, I would complete that story shortly. This is an important concept that I shared also, and it's very important. For someone who was a science student and I flunked physics time over time, relating the law of motion, which is a physics concept, to life was something that I found quite interesting. The first law of motion states, an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an external force. That's quite an interesting one. You keep moving on one straight line, or you remain stationary where you are, except a force is exerted. And what's that force? That force is you deciding to move. Remember the story of my brother I told earlier? That's what I'm talking about. The ability to change your course of action towards a purpose and a goal that you've set for yourself. So you remain at that spot where you are, or you keep moving at that one straight line unless a force is exerted upon it. I'll move to the second law of motion, which states that the acceleration of a body is directly proportional to the net force acting on it and inversely proportional to its mass. So, how fast you move or how slow you move depends on the weight that pulls you down. And this weight I'm referring to could be anything. It could be your fears. It could be guilt. It could be imposter syndrome. It could be life issues that just keep pulling you down. But you know what? Once you come into realization that the purpose that you have for yourself and those dreams and goals are way bigger than all of those things working against you, those heavy loads that you need to just drop, and then press on to the pedal so that you move beyond the speed that you think that you can move at. Only then can you break barriers. Only then can you achieve self-actualization. It brings me to the third law of motion, which states that to every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Wow. You work hard. You burn the midnight candle. Sleepless nights trying to achieve goals that you set for yourself. There is that opposite reaction of maybe tiredness. That's that feeling of maybe, when everyone is having fun, you're busy chatting that course. I'm not trying to disregard the importance of self-care, the importance of having fun and hanging out, but for every action you take towards self-actualization, there is that opposite reaction. But what? Just do it anyways. That fear in speaking up, in speaking out, it holds you back. But when you do, there could be negative comments. There could be reactions that you never anticipated. And sometimes that's the fear that holds us down. I remember writing this book and I'm like, do I really want to share my thoughts with the world? Do I really want to, put this out there? What if people pick up the book and read it and they're like, what did this girl write? Like, does this make sense? And, and then I got really worried and I'm like, okay, do I really need to do this? Because I've always had a passion for writing. And I remembered about 12 years ago when I was writing a blog, I kind of just kept it within my inner circle because I was afraid of what people would say, if they would really appreciate my writing and things that I'm doing. And so that just died. And this time around, I was like, no, Shubomi, do this. And that's how you get better. You get feedback, and you'll do it again and again, and you'll get better at it. And here we have MER Chapters. Oh, the concept of serendipity, something you didn't plan for, but it's exactly what you needed. But one thing I want you to know is, even though serendipity sometimes feels like luck, or it feels like chance, or it just happened, it never replaces preparation, but it rewards it. Yes, it's opportunity meets preparation, meets preparedness. And this brings me back to my story that I said I was going to complete later, remember? And then I got this job. 3 months down the line, I got into a new role, which I created for myself. It was amazing. And I'm like, yes, this is it. I'm now in the department I want to be. I'm in a role that is aligned with my goals, and I'll go for it. And this led to an opportunity that pretty much changed the trajectory of my career. Whilst doing my job, whilst working hard, another opportunity came up. There was the opportunity whereby the United Nations Secretary General appointed 17 UN SDG advocates. And one of them was an important figure in Nigeria, where I come from, and happened to be a previous boss of my current boss in this organization. That opportunity felt like serendipity, but it was this opportunity, this chance, in quotes, meeting my preparedness. Because I had the courage to do the hard things, I had the courage to do things anyways. There are two quotes that I live by. One, whatever your hand finds to do, you do with all your might. I work diligently. I put in my everything. And then this moment came where this second quote played out. Seest thou a man diligent in his craft, for he shall stand before kings and not mean men. My boss reached out to me and said, oh, I got an email requesting that I serve as an advisor to this SDG Advocate. I don't have the time for it now. I want you to sit in this meeting, and you can advise on what to do going forward. I sat in that meeting, and somehow, I don't know how that happened. After the meeting, I was like, I need to do this. I want to do this. I would love to be in this role. I can combine this with my work. And I went on and on and on and on reasons why I was made for this advisor role. And my boss was like, okay, I need to get approval because sometimes this role might affect your work and all of that. And I'm like, okay, let's see how it goes. And lo and behold, I got the role. And the day I got an email of him introducing me to this figure, I was like, really? Someone that I never imagined would even know Olasubomi Sofowora existed was replying an email saying, a pleasure to meet you. And this opportunity opened several doors for me, gave me the opportunity to sit on tables that decision makers globally would sit on. I remember the first day that I walked into the United Nations, and I was like, wow, this is happening. And sitting on tables that world leaders would sit in and make decisions. And I told myself, is this serendipity? In as much as I try to be humble and I'm like, okay, this happened, I'm just favored, or I'm just, it's luck, call it whatever you might call it. I'll give myself a pat on the back and say, the opportunity met your preparedness. Those days back in school when you were an ISEC member, ISEC is one of the leading student-run organizations in about 121 countries, which is a platform for young individuals to discover and develop their potentials. So back then in school, when you were organizing conferences, going on marketing drives, being planning committee for seminars, and doing all sorts of that when, my classmates were just focused on schoolwork and every other thing. Times when I had to burn the midnight candle to study hard. Times at work when I had to work double hard to ensure that I met expectations. And this was the time when I looked back and I'm like, it paid off. So these opportunities come. Those opportunities where you feel like I didn't plan for it. Oh, you just have maybe waiting at the airport lounge, you have a conversation with someone, and an opportunity springs up. You had prepared for that. If you didn't have the content required to carry that, it wouldn't click anyways. And I'll talk about living in gratitude now. This is an important aspect of our lives that helps us chat through difficult seasons with some sort of joy in us. You are becoming, through the imperfect pieces. I'll take that again. You are becoming, even through imperfect pieces in divine alignment. Things might not be going the way you think it will go. Your script might have been changed. But just looking around you and being thankful for the birds in the sky, thankful for the trees out there, thankful for the life that you've got, thankful for opportunities to come will keep you going as you keep living in gratitude. Another thing I want to allude to also is Never lose sight of the small wins. I know we have all those big plans, all those amazing things we want to do. And we feel like when we haven't achieved those things, we can be thankful. And don't get me wrong, I'm not asking you to be mediocre or not have lofty dreams. But those little wins, passing that exam, getting that job, getting a thumbs up from your boss or from your lecturer or from, those are small wins that you should celebrate. It all adds up and it pumps you to keep doing better in all that you do. Because one thing that I'll tell you is that gratitude even attracts more blessings. Yes, gratitude attracts even much more blessings. And I'll close with this. You are not waiting to arrive. You are becoming. Becoming is a journey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So cut yourself some slack and keep moving. Thank you.